Hey guys, the new season of Game of Thrones is just around the corner, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of my final predictions and theories and guesses before this final season airs. So, you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know by now that I am rather obsessed and obsessive about my love of Game of Thrones, which airs on HBO. It's a fantasy series. So yeah, if you're here and you've never watched the show before, you might want to go away, because I'm definitely going to have some spoilers. And yeah, this is the final season of Game of Thrones, you guys. I'm anxious. I'm dying. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. I'm sure I'm gonna love it though. I don't think I'm gonna be disappointed. I hope I'm not disappointed. I've personally enjoyed every season. Every season, every episode has been just kind of stunning in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of primarily what this video is going to be about. It's just going to be some of my final predictions, theories, questions. I don't know. I'm just kind of winging it. I seriously have no notes that I'm going on. I'm just kind of flying through this. Like I said, there's most likely going to be spoilers, so yeah, continue as you wish. And I definitely would love to hear your ideas. Those of you who do watch Game of Thrones. I'm definitely curious your thoughts, your opinions, things that you love, maybe things that you hate about Game of Thrones. And yes, I did this last season. I am going to be doing individual episode reviews for each episode. I think there's only 6 episodes of the season. I'm not sure when I will get those reviews out. I would love to try to get them out like on Monday, you know, after the episode airs. I would love to do it on Monday, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a possibility. But I will try to do them as soon as possible and get them uploaded as soon as possible. And yeah, that's the thing. When I talk about Game of Thrones, when I do my reviews for them, they tend to run very close to an hour. So yeah, that kind of takes me a long time to film and then edit and upload. So yeah, kind of bear with me. But yeah, if you love all things Game of Thrones like me, definitely stay tuned for my individual reviews that I'm planning and hoping to do for this final season. Now, I want to make you guys aware of a little website that's popped up recently. The website, let me get my computer here. Sorry for the terrible glow, you guys. There's nothing I can do about this glow right now. I know it looks terrible. Anyway, there's a website that recently popped up this last couple months, and I'll give the link to you. I'll put it maybe here at the bottom or something. That way, if you want to go to it. But yeah, it's poolofdragons.com. Poolofdragons.com. And yeah, what this website is so far, it's an area. It's a website that you can go and make some predictions about the season. And you can join a house that you want to represent, if you want to represent House Stark or House Targaryen or whatever. And yeah, you make predictions, you can choose your house, and yeah, they have a leaderboard, and then when the final season airs, you're going to get points on if you made some correct guesses. So yeah, it's just something really fun, and I'm going to kind of be basing my video off of this particular website to kind of help me have a clear path to go through for this video, since I'm not running on any notes. So yeah, let's start here. I chose to represent House Stark. Yeah, guys, I gotta represent. I love me some House Stark. And I guess the easiest place to start, because Game of Thrones is always about the big shocks, the big shocking deaths. And yeah, this website, one of the big things that they're primarily focusing on is who you think is going to be alive by the end of the season, who you think is going to be dead by the end of the season, and they even have a special area who you think might become a white, who you think might become a part of the undead army. So yeah, let me start with that one, because I only made one guess for that, and that's going to be Dolorous Ed. He's part of the Night's Watch. For some reason, I feel like poor Ed, he's such a lovable, likable character, and I feel like poor Ed is going to be turned into a white. You guys, I feel it coming. But yeah, he's the only character that I felt that might happen to. You know, even though at the end of the season we saw Tormund and Beric Dondarrion in peril, and we're not really quite sure what's up with Gendry, where Gendry is exactly. But we saw Tormund and Beric in peril as the wall was coming down. But I don't think they're going to get turned into whites. I think they're going to make it, because we need people to fight on the side of Daenerys and Jon Snow. You know, we need to have a big army there. You know, once they go confront, you know, Cersei and the Night King and whatnot. So yeah, I think poor Ed might be the one casualty, unfortunately, who turns into a white. Okay, so let's start with the people who I think might stay alive. And as I kind of talk about individual people, I might kind of make little side theories and whatnot as I go. I definitely said that I think Jon Snow is going to live by the end of the season, you guys. I just I don't know. This whole series, it's called a Song of Ice and Fire. And Jon has been so heavily focused on, you know, we got that big reveal that he was the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, and he is technically the true rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Not Daenerys. So I feel like this show, you know, whether or not there is an Iron Throne by the end of the season, I feel like Jon has to make it through. If he dies again, I'm going to be very shocked and surprised. I mean, yeah, talk about a shock. You know, talk about a shock that, yeah, he died back in, what, the end of season 5? Yeah, add another shock that he dies for real. Because Jon has made references in the past, you know, when he talked to Melisandre, you know, right before the Battle of the Bastards, Jon said to Melisandre, if I die, don't bring me back again. So, I mean, could that be a hint or a tease that Jon might die again? And yeah, this time, don't bring him back. But yeah, for right now, my bold prediction, if you want to call it a bold prediction, I think Jon is going to make it alive. I really want him to. Next, I think Sansa Stark is going to live, you guys. If Sansa dies, I think my heart might break. If Sansa dies, I literally think I might die a little bit inside. Sansa, she is literally my favorite character. Yeah, guys. For many seasons, I've had this back and forth. Is Sansa my favorite character, or is Littlefinger my favorite character? And I've kind of decided that I think Sansa is definitely my top favorite character, and then probably Littlefinger in second place, and I think Jon in third. I think I would put Jon Snow as my third favorite character, and then Dany at 4. I think that's it. I think that, you know, I don't know who would be in fifth though. But still, Sansa has always been my die-hard #1 favorite character, I think. And I think Sansa has to live just because of Sansa's journey. You know, season 1, Sansa started off as this prim and proper lady, and she had these naive hopes and dreams of becoming the queen, essentially, and marrying Joffrey Baratheon. And she realized how idiotic she had become, you know, by the end of season 1, and how naive, you know, once her father is beheaded right there in front of her eyes. So she really grows and matures by the very end of that first season, and we see a completely different Sansa throughout season 2 and 3, and then, you know, season 4, once she runs away with Littlefinger and whatnot. Yes, Sansa really develops into her own, and she starts to play the Game of Thrones, thanks to Littlefinger's tutelage and whatnot. And yes, she manages to outwit and outplay him by the very end, which was very shocking, but kind of like, you go, girl. So yeah, I feel like Sansa, because of her journey, you know, she starts off as this hopeful, naive little girl who believes in the classic fairy tale princess slaying. You know, she starts off that way, and she gets those dreams and fantasies just completely dashed from her mind, you know, in such a horrible way. And yes, she has to marry Tyrion, she has to marry Ramsay, she goes through so much bullshit, you guys. So, and the thing is that leads her to become the character that she is now. She is very strong and independent. She has her own opinions, and yeah, she voices those opinions, you know. She would have never voiced her opinions with Cersei Lannister, you know. But yeah, with Jon, she feels that confidence to be like, hey, you're wrong, listen to me, you know. I run Winterfell as well. So yeah, Sansa, girl, you gotta live or I'm gonna die. I also have another Stark here who I think's gonna live. I think Arya has to live. You guys, Arya, I was debating. I was like, ooh, Arya could easily die, but will she? I don't know. I think Arya will live. She's got to finish off her hit list. She's got to kill everybody that she wants to kill. I mean, the big question about Arya that many people have had, is Arya, is she going to remain at Winterfell? Is she going to go off on her own? Is she going to become a faceless man? Who knows? Arya is kind of really up in the air, but I ultimately think she will live. And then, yeah, as far as Bran Stark is concerned, I'm also predicting that Bran Stark is going to live. He's the three-eyed raven. He has so much history and knowledge in his head now, and he's not really the Bran Stark of season 1 at all. He's no longer that character anymore, but I want this hope, that all the Starks will make it out alive, because so many of them have died. So many of them have died, and I just want them all together, all of the kids. And yeah, I feel like Bran is gonna live just because it's this nice frame, I guess. That he will continue to have this knowledge and history in his head, and he will be able to recount the events of this war, this great war coming up, to future generations. So I feel like Bran has got to live in order to be the one sole person to outlive everybody and to continue to tell this story, because, yeah, my understanding of the Three-Eyed Raven is that the Three-Eyed Raven is pretty ancient, and that Bran could be pretty ancient as well. I also predicted that I think Tyrion Lannister is going to live. Out of all of the Lannisters, I really want Tyrion to live. Tyrion has also been through so much bullshit. He's faced so much adversity, and he's kind of changed his character as well. He liked to fool around. He didn't think much of himself in season 1 and 2 and whatnot. But yeah, he became a leader. He got under the confidence of Daenerys, and yeah, he's done a lot of good. He's really kind of turned and become this really good, fascinating character. And yeah, I just want Tyrion to live. You guys, please. Next, I'm predicting that Yara Greyjoy lives. Out of the entire Greyjoy clan, she seems the most realistic and believable to win. Or live, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. She's definitely got to beat her uncle. She's got to take back the Iron Islands. And yeah, I think she'll be a great leader for the Iron Islands. You go, girl. Next, Samwell Tarly. Samwell Tarly seems like the most obvious person to live, you guys. And let me group all these characters together. Sam, Gilly, and Gilly's son, Little Sam. The three of them seem like the most obvious people to live. And to me, Sam and Gilly and the baby, they are just this perfect unit of characters. They are relatable, they're believable, they're kind of perfect together. And yes, Sam and Gilly, they have the best relationship. Out of all of these characters, all of these relationships, I think the two of them have the best and most healthiest relationship. And I just want a happy ending for somebody. If nobody else can have a happy ending, I want Sam and Gilly and the baby to have a happy ending and go off and do whatever, Next, Brienne of Tarth. I'm predicting that Brienne makes it out alive. She's just such a tough, badass character, female warrior. She's got to make it, you guys. And yeah, because if Sansa lives, I want Brienne to live as well. For her to be part of Sansa's, her guard and whatnot to protect Sansa heading forward. Now, yeah, I'll talk about Jaime in a minute. I wanted Brienne to have a nice happy ending with Jaime Lannister. I don't think that's going to happen, though, you guys. But like I said, we'll get to that in just a minute with Jaime when I get to the list of people I think are going to die. But yeah, I think Brienne will live. I also think Davos Seaworth is going to live. I kind of went back and forth with Davos. I was like, he could easily flip. He can easily flip. He's going to either live or he's going to die. But I feel like he's going to live, because I feel like if Jon lives, it's kind of the same with Brienne. If Sansa lives, I think Brienne will live. If Jon lives, I think Davos will live. And I just adore Davos, you guys. He's just so sweet and kind. He's really down to earth. And yeah, characters like him, I hope for them to stick around. Next, Bronn. I think Bronn is going to live too, you guys. Bronn is he's the type of character, he looks out for number one, but then again, at the end of the day, that's his whole character. He always does look out for number one, and he's always looking out for easy pay and whatnot. But that could be his downfall. That maybe he has a change of heart. Like, hey, I'm going to do something that's going to be sacrificial and do this and that, and maybe he does die. You know, maybe he does die, but I almost feel like he might live. You know, I feel like Bronn might possibly live. I also think Podrick Payne will live. Podrick Payne is just so sweet and adorable. How could you kill him, you guys? So please, Podrick will live. I also think Grey Worm and Missandei will live. They're kind of like Sam and Gilly as well. You know, Grey Worm and Missandei have kind of an ideal relationship as well, you know, that they're the most healthy. So yeah, I really want Grey Worm and Missandei to live so they can go off peacefully into the sunset. Gendry. Gendry was a big one. He could live or die. Because, yeah, he's also a problem. If you think about it, he's the bastard son of Robert Baratheon. This thing, though, that still doesn't pose too much of a threat, though. I mean, because Jon is still the legitimate heir. And Gendry would be behind. You know, he would actually be behind Jon and Daenerys, technically, right? So Gendry could either live or die. I mean, depending on just where they want to take that character. If they feel like his character is a problem, ultimately, for the end game. But at the same time, I don't think Gendry doesn't crave power. You know, he likes his simple life and the simple things, you know, and I don't think the kingdom and the Iron Throne, I don't think any of that interests him at the end of the day. And plus, you know, I didn't mention this with Arya. There's a part of me I really want Arya and Gendry to end up together. A little weird, but they're so perfect together, you know. And then the last creatures that I have here that I think are going to stay alive, that's going to be Ghost and Nymeria. Ghost and Nymeria, they are the last of the Stark direwolves. I can't take any more direwolf deaths, you guys. If any more direwolves die, I'm done. I am done. Game of Thrones, do not upset me. So yes, Ghost and Nymeria, I feel like they've got to live. Especially, you know, if Jon lives. If Jon lives, Ghost definitely lives, I think. But yeah, Nymeria, it's kind of hard with Nymeria because she could easily die. If Arya dies, then Nymeria dies also. And now Nymeria may never go back to Arya. She may be just a wild wolf forever, which might be a tease about Arya's fate as well. If Arya chooses not to stay at Winterfell, you know, the Nymeria and Arya thing could be a reflection. You know, they could be a reflection of each other. You know, Nymeria being a wild wolf and Arya being, you know, wild and free on her own and kind of choosing not to be a Stark in a way. Okay, let's get to who I think is gonna die. Yeah, guys, these are the people I think are gonna die, my predictions. I feel like Cersei and Jaime Lannister are gonna die, you guys. I just feel like it's been predicted since season 1, episode 1. Because, you know, we get that great scene, you know, who is that between? Is it between Cersei and Ned Stark, I want to say? I believe it's between Cersei and Ned, you know, and Cersei says, Jaime and I, since they're twins, she says, Jaime and I, we were born together, we're going to die together. And I feel like that's been foreshadowed since the very beginning. Now, how they die, that's a big question. Who's going to kill Cersei? For sure, I feel like Cersei's dying. Either by Jaime's hand, by Tyrion's hand, or by Arya's hand. I kind of really don't want Arya to kill Cersei. Now, the only way I can imagine Arya killing Cersei is if she puts on the mask of somebody. And I think the best, most clever way to do that, you know, since Littlefinger died in the season finale, she could rip off his face, as gruesome as that is. She could rip off his face, return to King's Landing looking like Littlefinger, get very close to Cersei, and kill Cersei. That's the only believable, plausible way that I can see Arya killing Cersei is through the guise of Littlefinger. But yeah, if Arya doesn't kill Cersei, I would much rather it be done by the hands of Jaime, her twin brother, the guy that she came into the world with, and who she kind of foreshadowed, hey, we're going to leave this world together too. It would be awesome too if Tyrion killed her, but I don't know. I would far prefer Jaime, you guys. Now, I think Jaime's gonna die. I feel like Jaime and Cersei are both dying. I feel like they're both gonna kill each other. That's my honest opinion. I feel like they're both going to kill each other in some fashion, and they're both going to just be lying there in a pool of blood on the floor together. I think that would be the most poetic, meaningful way for the two of them to go out, you know? And yeah, Jamie has said before, you know, when I die, I want to die in the arms of the woman I love. And that could be Stacie or Brienne. You guys, it could be either one. But yeah, I definitely, I feel pretty positive Jamie and Stacie are both going to die. And I think they're both going to kill each other. And then here's my big, bold prediction, you guys. Daenerys Targaryen. I predicted here that Daenerys Targaryen may perhaps die. There's been a lot of hints and teases and foreshadowing that Daenerys, she could be pregnant with Jon Snow's baby. This is turning into a big soap opera, you guys. She could easily die in childbirth, I see. And speaking of babies, let's go back to Cersei really quickly, because the baby thing made me think of Cersei. Is Cersei pregnant, you guys? I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Is she? Is she not? Is she lying? Did she create a lie to try to drag Jamie back to her? And if she is pregnant, I think she's definitely going to lose the baby. Because, you know, the whole Maggie the Frog prophecy, and, you know, Maggie the Frog predicted, hey, all of your children are going to die. And all of her children have died. And that could include this baby here. That could be unborn, it could be born early, whatever. I think her child is definitely going to die, you guys. But yeah, going back to Daenerys, I could see an opposite scenario, that Daenerys, you know, she could be pregnant too, but she could have a baby, but she herself dies in childbirth, you know. I'm just very curious where this show is ultimately going. You know, are we going to have an Iron Throne by the end? Is it even going to be important? Or are they going to be like, hey, let's have a democracy, you guys? Who knows where the hell this is going? So, yeah, will Jon get on the Iron Throne? Will Daenerys get on the Iron Throne? Will they both get the Iron Throne? I don't know. Are they going to have a dual partnership? I mean, there's so many questions here. It's kind of hard to kind of wrap your head around it. It's like, it could go this way, it could go that way, it could go neither of these ways. But yeah, my bold prediction, I almost kind of suspect that Daenerys might die. You know, in order to put Jon on the throne. Like I said, Jon has been that big character that I think this show and the books are really wrapped around, you know. So that's why I'm concerned about Daenerys at the end of the day. Next, my next death prediction, Theon Greyjoy. You guys, I really feel like Theon is dying. He's been through so much crap every season. You know, he started off as kind of a douchebag, then he went to being a traitor, then he went to being a captive who was raped and abused by Ramsay Bolton, and then he went from rescuing Sansa. He kind of went through a little bit of redemption by helping her and then trying to help Yara. But yeah, he has some severe PTSD, but I think we saw him triumph over that PTSD. You know, I think we saw him triumph in that last season. He really kind of came back to himself, and that determination to be like, hey, I'm going after my sister, and I'm going to die trying. And that's just it. I think he is going to die trying to rescue his sister. And, yeah, Euron is probably going to kill him. But my hope is that Theon kills Euron. Let's move down here to Euron. Euron's kind of way down here. I feel like Euron Greyjoy is going to die as well. I think it's very obvious he is dying. I do not imagine Euron making it out alive. So yeah, my hope is that Theon kills his uncle. You know, Theon becomes Simba, and Euron becomes Scar. What a great metaphor. Melisandre. I have a sneaky suspicion that Melisandre is going to die because she makes that remark to Varys. I guess I'll kind of tie Varys into here because I also predicted that Varys is going to die. So let's kind of tie Melisandre and Varys together. Because a big fan theory, you know, because of Melisandre's remark to Varys last season, she said, you and I, we both have to return to this strange country to die. Does that mean they're going to die soon during this war, or are they just going to die later, you know? So yeah, she makes it sound like she knows when she's dying, and she knows that she has to come back to Westeros at some point to die. So yeah, I have a sneaky suspicion that Melisandre could easily die this season, and then yeah, kind of going to Varys. I just don't know about Varys. I feel like Varys could easily die as well, but yeah, how? I don't know. That's my big question. How would he die? What predicament? Predicament would he get into that would lead up to his death? You know, and who would even do it? I can't even fathom. You know, before Littlefinger even died, my big theory was that Varys and Littlefinger, they would finally have a big one-on-one with each other, and they would kill each other. You know, I felt like they would kill each other, but yeah, Littlefinger's dead now. So that kind of ruins my theory that I've had for a long time, that Varys would be killed by Littlefinger, or Varys himself would have killed Littlefinger at some point. So yeah, Melisandre and Varys are on my death list. Another, Jorah Mormont. You guys, this one pains me as well because I freaking love Jorah, and I love the Jorah and Daenerys relationship. I'm still a little bitter that Jon and Daenerys are a thing, because I've been shipping Jorah and Dany since season 1. I'm very bitter. But yeah, I feel like Jorah is definitely going to die, because Jorah, you know, he was exiled from Westeros because of the slave trade that he got caught up into. Ned Stark is the one who exiled him to Essos. And yeah, I feel like Jorah kind of has redeemed himself over the years, because he was initially, you know, to try to get back to the good graces of Robert and try to get back into Westeros, you know, he was going to spy on Daenerys and give back those reports and whatnot. But Jorah, you know, he fell in love with Daenerys. He realized that she had a good claim and a good cause, and he supported that. And I feel like he's going to ultimately sacrifice himself at the end of the day, trying to protect and save Daenerys. So yeah, I feel I have a horrible sensation for Jorah, you guys. Jorah is definitely going, I think. Next on my death predictions, the Hound and the Mountain. I know we had the tease that the Hound might have died back in season 4, but then he came back, so it almost seems silly that they would kill him again. But I feel like he will die. I feel like the Hound and the Mountain are going to kill each other. We need Clegane Bowl. You know, there's been all the hype for Clegane Bowl since like season 1 pretty much, and we need a proper, gritty, raw fight between the Hound and the Mountain. I think we've all been asking and pleading for it. I think out of all of the fan service the show could do, I think the biggest fan service would be Clegane Bowl. We need it. So yeah, I think they're both going to kill each other. And speaking of the Hound, I need a reunion between the Hound and Arya, you guys. I need a reunion between them, and I would absolutely love a reunion between Sansa and the Hound. I've always really liked that Sansa and the Hound dynamic. You know, it's very much Beauty and the Beast. You know, that's how their relationship has often been interpreted. You know, very Beauty and the Beast-like. Yeah, I really want to see the Hound and Sansa reunited. You know, if the Hound doesn't die fighting the Mountain, I could easily see the Hound dying trying to save Sansa, quite honestly, or even save Arya, or both of the girls, actually. Let's see, I already talked about Varys. Let's move on to Tormund. I feel like Tormund's gonna die, you guys. It kind of pains me, but I feel like out of all of Jon's loyal supporters, I feel like Tormund's gotta go. I mean, he could live. He could very well live, because he could become kind of the new leader of the free folk, you know? Be the leader of the wildlings and whatnot. But yeah, I have a suspicion that Tormund might die. Qyburn. If that MFer Qyburn does not die, I'm going to be really stressed out. Qyburn, you know, the thing is, though, he's a very manipulative, sneaky man. I could imagine Qyburn just sneaking his way to the very end and living, to be quite honest. But yeah, I feel like Qyburn's gonna die at some point. I could see Cersei getting really pissed off at him and just killing him point blank. But yeah, Qyburn's on my death list. Beric Dondarrion. Beric is another character that feels kind of obvious that he might die, because we know that Beric Dondarrion was brought back to life many, many times. And it seems like he's kind of reached a stopping point. You know, like, the last time I was brought back, I felt like that was my last time. You know, I think he even said that to Jon at some point. Like, I feel like this is it for me. If I die again, I'm not coming back again. So yeah, I feel like Beric, he'll make it through a number of episodes, fight in this war, and then die at the end of it, quite tragically. But it'd be really poetic, I think. I already talked about Euron dying. And then my last death prediction is Daario Naharis. I feel like Dario is going to come back. I feel like he's going to cross the sea, come to Westeros, join Dany. I don't think we're going to see very much of him, to be quite honest. He could easily just be in one episode and then die, for all we know. But I feel like Dario is going to come back. I feel like we need to wrap up his character. You know, I think we need to wrap him up and not leave him hanging. But yeah, I feel like Dario might die. So, yeah, you guys, that's pretty much what the bulk of this video was about. For me to share the pool of dragons, is that what it's called? Yeah, to share the pool of dragons site with you, kind of go over the big who lives, who dies, because I think that's what we're all waiting and expecting. You know, it's the living and the dying, more so than any other thing going on in the show. And you know what? You know who also wasn't on the death list at all? The Night King. You know what? They did not have the Night King on this list. Why did they not have the Night King? That's really shocking. Huh. Yeah, let's talk about the Night King. Really quick. Is the Night King gonna live? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna win this whole damn war? It could happen. I think the Night King will definitely be defeated. My big question is, how is this final season gonna run? What's going to happen first? Are we going to have everything with Stacie first, followed by the war with the Night King? Or are they going to handle everything with the Night King first and then Stacie? You know? Could we have the Army of the Dead defeated rather early? That almost seems anticlimactic in some ways. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my predictions, that I feel like, you know, Jaime's going to make his way to Winterfell, join the side of good, essentially. And then I feel like the Army of the Dead are going to take over Winterfell. Winterfell's going to fall. Everybody's going to head south. They're going to go to King's Landing. They're going to all make an uneasy alliance with Cersei once again. She's going to have to submit to this alliance, or else they're all going to freaking die. And then I think we're going to get one final battle in King's Landing. I think that's going to be the big things. We're going to have the first big battle probably in episode 2, I'm guessing, with Winterfell, because I feel like episode 1 is going to be the introductory episode. We're going to see where all these characters are at, where they're kind of going, and then I think we're going to get a cliffhanger with the Army of the Dead on the horizon of Winterfell. And then I feel like, I seriously feel like episode 2 is going to be the battle for Winterfell. And then I feel like episodes like 3 and 4 are going to be kind of, you know, middle stuff. You know, the characters heading south, getting reacquainted with each other, characters reuniting, yeah, getting to Cersei and trying to convince her, hey, stop this madness, we gotta team up, we gotta unite, or Westeros is going to be completely kaput. And then, yeah, I feel like episode 5 is going to be the big between the Army of the Living and the Army of the Dead. And then I feel like episode 6, I feel like the war will be over, because I feel like episode 6 has to be the big concluding episode. You know, it's got to be like the end of the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. You know how the ends of Return of the King, I won't have any spoilers here for Return of the King if you've not seen it, but you know, at the end of Return of the King, there's like multiple endings. You know, that ending is like a good 30 minutes long, I think, because there's so many characters they had to conclude. And yeah, you can't just end this massive movie with all these characters in just a couple minutes, you know? So yeah, the end of Return of the King is lengthy, and they have to wrap up a lot of characters. So I feel like that's going to be the big point of episode 6, is that the war will be done by episode 5, and episode 6 will be this concluding chapter where you know, dealing with who's left, essentially, you know, all the characters who make it out alive, if any. And yeah, where they're heading next, you know, teases about the future of their characters, essentially, who ends up with whom, any marriages. Good lord, you guys, if Jon and Daenerys get married, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna think. It is technically incest, but at the same time they're very sexy looking together, so I'm a little confused. But I don't know if we're going to get some marriages in the last episode. But yeah, I definitely feel like that last episode is going to be the epilogue. You know, we're going to conclude all the characters. There's a good chance every character might just get one 10-minute scene, and that's kind of it. That's all we see of the character in the episode, you know, because there's so many characters to go through, essentially, and so many plot lines, you know. So yeah, you guys, I think I've covered everything. I mostly just talked about who lives, who dies. I've made a few little predictions here at the end where I think each episode is going to head. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say, quite honestly. You guys, in the comments below, anything I left out, any lingering questions that you have, please share with me your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. How do you think this season is ultimately going to head? And who do you think is going to live and who do you think is going to die? So, you guys, that's it for this rather lengthy video. I applaud you if you made it through. And like I said, stay tuned in the future. I'm going to be doing individual episode reviews, talking about these final 6 episodes. I'm very excited. I'm thrilled. I'm a little nervous. I'm very nervous, you guys, but just really excited at the same time. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.